Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to M-Class, M-Class Podcast. I'm Jeff.
I'm Josh. You didn't want to do your radio voice?
Nah, I
more?
really lost interest in doing that halfway through it.
You were reminded me of like the SNL guy or like a David
Don Pardo.
Letterman. Yeah, that's his name. You knew his name. Wow.
I don't know why.
I didn't know his name.
I don't know why, but I do.
Well, you're full of facts that
full
are
of
interesting.
something.
How interesting.
That's your John Larroquette fun fact of the day. The announcer on Saturday Night Live was named Don Pardo.
I think he's still alive, isn't he?
No.
What?
No,
he's dead, man?
He's dead. The guy who used to play Clinton, Daryl Hannah?
Oh, he does.
Daryl Hammond. Yeah, Daryl Hammond took over.
Daryl Hannah is a woman who is super hot.
Yes. Oh,
she was a mermaid.
Here's a not so fun fact right at the beginning of the show for you.
Good.
A little tangent before we even introduce the show.
That's all right. We got plenty of time today.
Daryl Hammond did all the impressions of Trump during his day.
Oh,
and,
like when they would have a Trump impression?
Yeah, and when Trump became president, Daryl Hammond was like, fuck, I'm psyched. Because I'm still on the show. I'm still doing the voiceover and everything, so I get to be Trump. And the fucking shithole that runs the show over at Saturday Night Live, Lorne Michaels, he's a piece of shit. Read about him.
He sucks. He does suck.
He brought on Alec Baldwin because it would be like having like a more famous person on.
Yeah, he's famous, right?
And Daryl Hammond had moved to L.A. on the promise that he was going to be Trump. Like
Wait,
he moved
to L.A.?
They don't do that. Or he moved from L.A. to New York.
Oh,
on the promise that he was going to be Trump, and then he wasn't. And Daryl Hammond was like, I guess my career is over.
Does he still do the voice for it?
He does the voiceover on Saturday Night Live, and that's pretty much it. He writes books about his terrible life experiences as well, and includes that, I imagine.
That's why being like a comedian is terrible.
It's not a great career path.
You get fucked. I mean, everybody gets fucked, right? But like that sucks, dude.
So that's your fun fact.
How interesting.
I feel really bad for him, though, honestly.
Maybe he'll do our show.
Maybe.
He can do Trump on this show.
No, I don't want Trump anywhere near this show.
Yeah, me neither.
Did you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I said my name.
Okay, just so everybody knows. It's weird that we introduce ourselves at the beginning, actually, since shouldn't people know by now?
Well, there's new people, and they don't know.
Hopefully
right?
this isn't the first episode they're listening to.
I mean, it could be.
They'd be like, what the fuck is happening on the show right now?
I mean, that's part of the fun, man.
I guess that's true.
Like, where are they going? Why are they driving the podcast off of a cliff? It's not even 5 minutes in.
So, I would like to start out the podcast by letting everybody know that since we finished up Ben Beeler's Defection Collection, may it rest in peace.
That was a good one.
We are moving on thanks to our patrons on Patreon. We got a big old list of choices that we could go through.
Oh, yeah.
We did some polling on Patreon for patrons only, and the winner was Rich Masters Past Lives Collection.
Rich Masters hitting home runs all over the place.
He's apparently good at everything.
He's good at making collections. No, I looked at the graphic for the episodes because that's how I find out what we need to watch next.
He could just ask me, but instead
I could, but I definitely just I kind of like it. I kind of like to wait because it's like exciting for me.
Yeah, it's exciting. Hopefully, it's exciting for everybody else as well.
It's exciting for me.
That's all that matters to me.
That's all I care about. I don't give a fuck about it. No, but I saw that when we were watching, and I was looking for the episode today, and I was like, why can't I fucking find this episode? It's because I was looking at the original series, Netflix, and I was like, oh, it's the animated series.
Yeah, we're starting out strong this time, coming out the gate swinging with a series we don't normally get into.
I think we're doing one from each franchise, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, we're not doing one from TOS, but the animated series is TOS pretty much, so...
This is a really this is like a cool episode. I like this one. Not to oversell it.
We haven't even announced it yet, but
I'm cock teasing them a little bit. That's how you do it.
If you would like to find out what episodes you should be watching, you should head on over to our Twitter at mclasspodcast and check out the pinned tweet at the top of our profile.
It's got a bunch of stuff on it, and you just follow the list. It's like a list.
It's like a watch list.
Yeah, you just watch them in a row, or you can watch them if you have like a Netflix and chill with your sweetie.
With your best gal.
With your best gal or guy, I don't know, whoever. And you just watch it, and then you chill, and usually that involves butt kissing.
Right.
Kissing a butts.
Or, making your butts kiss each other.
That's what I meant, yeah.
The reverse 69.
The 96.
This collection is actually pretty fucking jam-packed with great episodes.
Yeah, I was excited for most of them.
This list actually has episodes that... one episode I've been waiting for since the beginning of the show, TNG's The Inner Light. Yes. And an episode Josh has been waiting for since the beginning of this show, Enterprise's Carbon Creek.
Oh, it's so good. I think you're going to like it.
I think I'm going to like it too, since I've already seen it. So...
Well, there you go. We don't have to do the podcast now. Everyone can go home.
Sorry, I'll bleep that out when you
Yeah, okay, sure. Definitely. It's already bleeped out. I did it.
Cool. The beginning of this collection, like I said, starts out in the animated series, and it's Yesteryear. That's season 1, episode 2 of the animated series.
Yeah. They really front-loaded the animated series with some good shit.
It's true.
And then they backload
it. The further you get into it, it kind of gets a little worse.
Is it 2 seasons, right?
I don't remember. I think so.
I think it is.
Yeah. Maybe.
Remember the one where they fight Quetzalcoatl, the dragon god from the Aztec Empire? Remember that one? We should watch that one.
There's a great one with Satan in it. Yeah, the animated series is 2 seasons.
2 seasons and 2 Satans?
This was first aired in 1973, directed by Hal Sutherland, who directed the entire first season, and was credited with directing the entire second season, but it's just because they saved money by using the same credits. He didn't actually direct any of them.
They didn't want to animate new credits?
Yeah, Bill Reed directed the whole second season.
I'd be
Sorry to that guy.
If I was Bill Reed, dude.
I would have complained after the first episode, but apparently he was just like, I'm not watching that shit.
Bill Reed getting the Daryl Hammond treatment over here.
Oh, man. I depressed our whole audience right out the gate.
I did not know that. I mean, I knew Lorne Michaels sucked.
Yeah,
He's
Lorne
like
Michaels is a
asshole.
piece of shit, dude.
Yeah. I mean, you don't, last that long, right? Without being, I mean, that's not an excuse, but, yeah.
It's true.
Fuck that, dude.
But this episode was written by DC Fontana, who, it was, a major domo on the fucking Star Trek series as a whole. She worked on the original series, the animated series, Next Gen, and Deep Space Nine.
That's crazy. That's awesome. I wish I was a DC Fontana. Vic Fontana. I
think it's Fontana, but
I got it. I'm looking at it.
She was actually Gene Roddenberry's secretary to begin with, but her writing was so fucking good that he just let her write episodes. She wrote Charlie X. That was her first episode she ever wrote of anything.
Wow.
And she also wrote Journey to Babel, which is one of the best TOS episodes.
That's a great episode, yeah.
If you see any episodes written by someone named Michael Richards or J. Michael Bingham, it's actually DC Fontana.
That's crazy. Why did she? I guess for guild reasons, right?
Yeah.
You gotta.
Also, if they really fucked up her scripts, she changed her name in the credits.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's smart. No, that's really smart. Seriously.
Fun fact, a real fun fact of the day.
There's so many.
Straight to John Larroquette's ears and your heart.
Oh my god.
She co-wrote the pilot for TNG Encounter at Farpoint with Roddenberry.
Wow.
She co-invented the L-Cars system.
It's like Windows, but for the future.
Yeah, and she wrote 4 other episodes of season 1 of TNG before she left with all of the original series production veterans, because Roddenberry's lawyer, Leonard Maleslish, was a giant piece of shit and was trying to get all the original writers out for some reason.
What's weird? Maybe Roddenberry was like, I don't want these old ass people around. I need new ass people.
She came back after Roddenberry died, so maybe.
Maybe.
She identified DS9 as her favorite Star Trek series.
So she is absolutely correct in her opinion. That is the best one.
Yesteryear, as a brief little overview, is pretty much Spock goes back in time to save Lil Spock and create a fucking causality loop.
Predestination paradox. We got it going. For a cartoon, which is like pretty cool, man.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really get that in like in serious cartoons, serious quote-unquote cartoons, they're always trying to sell toys, number 1.
Right.
But for number 2, you don't get a whole lot of like causality loops.
Unless it's Mighty Max, and then the whole series is a causality loop.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? How at the end,
I do remember that. I
beginning?
remember not liking that very much.
It's kind of a cop-out, but it's great because they knew that they weren't going to make any more. So.
Yeah. I remember liking Mighty Max a lot. I don't know.
They're
I just
boy
remember
Polly Pockets, so yeah.
I like Polly Pocket even. So
yeah, I like Polly Pocket too.
My parents would not buy me Polly Pocket, but there was a girl that lived next door that had Polly Pocket. So
I would buy you Polly Pocket.
Man, you're the best parent, Josh.
Yeah, mine so mine is not gonna have a Polly Pocket.
Josh has been drinking.
It's like a nap. It's like a sleepy.
It's the same thing.
Pretty much.
Alright, so let's just jump into this. Well, actually, let's front load it real quick. Do you like this episode, Josh?
I do like this episode. It's remarkably good for being on what show it's on.
Yeah, I mean, like, the show had good writing for a lot of the episodes, but man, that animation fucking sucks.
No, the animation is bad. The writing is real, like, LSD 70s at some point, where they were like, I watched a couple episodes after this again, because I just left it on or whatever.
They're only half hour long, so...
Yeah, the one after it is like, there's a cloud coming. It's just like...
That's the whole episode.
A spooky cloud. It's, like, weird. And you're like, yeah, the 70s, dude.
I will point out real quick, I also like this episode.
Yeah.
It's actually a really good episode of TOS.
It is. This would be a great episode of any Star Trek. I love time travel. I'm like very, what's the word? I like it a lot. So
you're a fan?
I'm a fan of it. I'm predisposed to liking it automatically.
Yeah, I like time travel stories as well if they're done well. Like I absolutely fucking love Back to the Future.
I told you to watch Predestination, right? You didn't do it yet.
I don't think so. I don't normally watch things you tell me to do, so.
That's true. You were very horrible at it. I was telling you to watch Riverdale, and you refused to watch Riverdale.
Anyway. The guy, Hal Sutherland, was actually one of the, like, he was, like, the head... He was the director, but he was also, like, one of the head people at Filmation, the studio that did the cartoon.
The crappy animation studio.
Yeah, Filmation is known for making garbage and almost nothing else. I've talked about it before on the show.
Yeah, it's bad.
And I've talked about before that Hal Sutherland, director of this episode, was colorblind, and that's why there are numerous color errors throughout this episode and also this show specifically.
I don't notice them so much.
I mean, you have to be looking for them to really notice them in this episode. They're very small.
I kind of assume that, like, when animation color is weird, and especially, like, a show like this, which was made in the early 70s, like, that they were just like, well, we ran out of colors.
I mean, maybe.
Like,
that's
like,
a fun
we ran
fact
out of paint.
I can give you. I can give you a fun fact. You know Batman the Animated Series?
Yeah, I love that show. It's great.
I found out recently that all of the color on Batman the Animated Series was the same colors they used to paint ink cells and stuff on Tiny Toon Adventures.
What?
And that is why Robin's green on his costume has that weird light blue shading on it, because that's all they had.
Oh, that's weird, man.
And the green on Robin's costume is Plucky Duck green.
That's Plucky Duck green.
Yeah.
So do they color it like... I know a lot of animation project studio, whatever, they like ship them away to do, like Korea, right? Like a lot of times they'll send them to Korea.
Yeah, they did. Well, like different studios did all the animation and stuff, but the same studio did the color.
Right.
And the thing is, like, Warner Brothers studio has to buy colors for every show, and I mean, you have to buy in such like a massive bulk.
Right.
That you won't run out at all during the whole production period of the show, no matter how long it lasts.
Right, and this was before some colors were invented, so...
I mean, that's true. But,
dark green? I never thought of that.
Well, I mean, these colors are in, like, the terms of spending, like, $20,000 on green or something.
Right. It's like when you hear about, like, certain, like, car paints or some shit. Like, some car paints are, like, crazy expensive because they have, like...
The pigment
some
is
special,
rare.
Yeah, rare pigment, yeah.
But they didn't buy rare pigment. They bought, like, whatever was going to look okay on screen and be as cheap as possible.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
I always
Warner
found that
Brothers.
to be wild. Like, I only found it out, like, a month or two ago. But...
That is crazy. I mean, it makes sense a lot, but also it's, like... what's crazy about it is like now we're just like, why would you even actually use paint?
Yeah, you don't need to use paint at all anymore. It's all digital.
Yeah, just digitally color it in and make it that way. And like back then they were like, what?
You know what a wild thing to think about is? New shades of colors can be invented, but there is a limit to what your screen can show.
Also a limit to what your eyes can see.
That's true. But I mean, like, the eye has
screens,
has like a
they're
higher...
the screens of your brain.
Like, your eyes have, like, a higher, like, understanding of color. I guess they have more understanding of color than, like, a screen can produce.
Because we survived in nature, and we were... it was beneficial to us, right, to see more colors.
Well, my eyes don't, because I'm partially
My eyes don't either.
But...
Yeah, my eyes are crap. They're trash.
But normal people's eyes
can see functioning people's, yeah.
That's something I never thought about, that if you wanted to create a new color pigment, you could not do it digitally, because screens can only produce pigments that already exist.
Right, so you have to like use actual paint and shit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Back to Star Trek.
This is science. We're talking about science and evolution.
There is one thing that this episode never touches on.
Yeah.
But is the crux of the episode. All of our characters show up on a planet at a certain point that has a big rock formation that you can jump through time in. No one says what this is.
Yeah, so it's one of the Guardians, right?
It's the Guardian of Forever. They're on the same planet.
That's the same one?
Yeah, there's only one Guardian of Forever.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure. I was like, are there like another Guardian? Like,
no.
So the Guardian of Forever is also like, they also kind of like retcon it as like an Iconian gate later, right?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like the Iconian gates are sort of similar, but the Guardian of Forever kind of is like its own thing because it talks and shit.
I don't... No, I don't think I like that, Josh.
You don't like that?
I don't like that. Like, the Guardian of Forever was supposed to be this, like, unknowable thing, and then people were just like, actually, there's a bunch of them, and these guys made it.
Well, I think the Guardian, like, I might just be, like, filling in the blanks here, like, with my fan canon, but I think the Guardian is sort of like a runaway, like, AI, right? Where it, like, becomes,
well, it
like,
is an artificial
sentient.
Intelligence. It talks about how it's a machine.
Yeah, but I think it's from the Iconian era, so that's, like, a really long time ago. Like, 250,000 years ago.
That's a long time ago.
I got dates for you.
Thanks. Well, like, they don't mention that it's the Guardian of Forever in this episode, but it's the same exact design and has the same voice and it does the same thing. And in, like, show notes that I looked up, it is the Guardian of Forever.
That's cool, though. Like, I think that's cool.
I mean, it makes sense that they would go back and study it.
What doesn't make sense is how they study it. They're really fucking careless about
They are. They just go back in time and watch shit. What are you doing?
They're like, remember last time we went in here? All hell broke loose.
Yeah.
Let's go in again.
Remember last time when we unmade the Federation? Let's just check it out again.
Fuck it. What could go wrong? We'll just fix it again.
I also love that there's just a griffin holding a computer in this episode.
So I thought, another, filling in my fan canon, I thought maybe this was, the sixth race of Xindi, because, the Xindi are, 5 different species, but, the sixth race is, a bird race, and I was like, is that, a Xindi, maybe?
Nah.
I know, I'm filling in the...
Yeah, he's apparently Aurelian.
Okay. He is kind of, naked, too.
Yeah, he's not wearing clothes, which I guess is customary on his planet.
But good thing he's the same color as the uniforms that they wear.
Wouldn't it be great if it wasn't customary on his planet and he just kept telling people that?
He told everybody? Dude, that's what I would do. I'd be like, nah, it's totally cool. Where I'm from, we're just naked all
We're just all naked all the time. Really? I hadn't heard that. No, it's true.
No, it's definitely a thing that I didn't make up. It's true.
Don't look it up in your computer.
Don't look it up.
But the episode opens, the Enterprise has gone to the planet that the Guardian of Forever is on. They don't say that. They just say it's the planet of the time vortex.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't, just say the thing from the other episode. I'm not sure why.
They do talk about how it's, all the timelines in the galaxy, converge there, and that's how they describe the Guardian of Forever.
That's a problem.
But... you know what's weird? It might be a Tom Paris type of situation where they just had to rename it because they didn't want to pay the writer royalties for using it again.
That might be it. That's probably what it is. Man, television is fucking stupid, man.
So fucked up. But anyway.
What the fuck? Seriously. That's dumb as shit. Come on.
I really hate... That's Tom Paris himself is such a boring, bland-ass character.
Yeah.
That, I don't really care for him that much anyway, but it makes me really not like him. The writers involved and shit, that they were just the guy who created him, fuck that guy.
Just pay the guy so you can use the fucking plot device that you're gonna use. Why wouldn't you?
Whatever, I guess.
Star Trek was humming on all cylinders, man. Just give the guy $100,000.
You got the money. You've got the money.
Yeah, just give him whatever. Within reason, right? For using his stupid fucking character.
Yeah, he would want royalties, I think. And at that point in history, you would be a complete moron not to want royalties for your Star Trek character. TNG... phenomenon, DS9 phenomenon,
Voyager,
Voyager's coming, and they're like, "Hey, we want to use your character.
Yeah,
we'll give you a flat sum." I'd be like, "Fuck that."
Well, then give the dude
oh yeah,
you just gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Give
right?
him the royalties.
Just give him the royalties. Who cares? Whatever.
You know what? Since we haven't talked about the episode yet, I think we're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Every weekend on Nickelodeon, meet strange and mysterious creatures. The fire-breathing Kukulkan, the ferocious clan of Kazintis, eerie Aquans, terrible Tribbles, menacing Klingons, terrifying pterodactyls, and that's only the beginning.
Mr. Spock, did you see what I think I just saw?
Journey into unknown space with Captain Kirk and the crew of the Starship Enterprise. Beam up to Star Trek every weekend on Nickelodeon.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you bought that good and/or service.
Oh man, what a great commercial.
What a great commercial.
Buy stuff. It helps the world do stuff.
Buy stuff. It's your only purpose in life.
It will make you happy. It's like a food pellet with cocaine in it.
All right, so on the planet that the Guardian of Forever is on, although they don't call it that,
we owe that guy money now.
We meet up with Dr. McCoy, who's standing next to a lady and a griffin.
Yeah, we're off to a fucking banging start.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, what the fuck?
There's like a pointer sister and a griffin.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like not Uhura. It's just like, I guess she's a scientist, right?
Yeah, she's just a scientist lady.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, the travelers are coming back. And Kirk and Spock and Red Shirt jump out of the gateway like in the worst animation of running I've ever seen.
It's not even like running. It's like they just show up.
It's like their legs are moving way too fast for how much they're moving.
Yeah.
It looks really bad. The whole show looks bad right out the gate. I want everybody to know that.
I remember it just being like their legs like look like they're moving, but they weren't. Maybe I just like wasn't like paying attention, or maybe it just looked that bad. But I was like, are they like just appearing? It was weird. It's just a weird.
Maybe it's different in the first one, and I'm thinking because they jump in and out of it like 4 times.
Yeah, they do a bunch of this like going in and out.
I'd love to see an edit of all the times somebody ever jumped in the Guardian of Forever with like Benny Hill music behind it. Jumping in and out.
I mean, they're like idiots for going into this thing.
They're like, yeah, we went back to observe the dawn of the Orion civilization. We just stood there and watched.
Yeah, like, what were you doing? And what were you doing? Like, this isn't like a insurrection where they have like elaborate fucking like disguises and like cloaking suits and shit.
No,
like
they just go there and stand. Whatever.
Good thing the Griffin didn't go there. That dude would have caused some trouble. Then I'm like, this fucking Griffin can talk.
Who knows? Maybe the Orions had talking griffins back then.
Maybe that's where all of like our myths come from. Just Star Trek dragons and shit go back in time,
It
and we're just
like it.
Yeah, we're just like, it's like ancient aliens, right? Like, we just make myths of them then.
Josh, do you believe in ancient aliens?
Do I believe in ancient aliens? It's fun. It's fun to think about.
Fun. I would love to see you go up in front of like a scientific dais. Like, and you've got like all your papers and everything, and you shuffle them up and you say, on the topic of ancient aliens. It's fun!
I mean, it's fun.
And then they all go, yay! And throw all their papers in the air.
And I go, see you next year. Have a good summer. Stay cool.
I'll sign your yearbook in the hall.
It's fun.
But, like, Spock jumps out of the Guardian of Forever, and everybody's like, who in the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, Spock comes out, and Bones is like, a Vulcan? Like, he's kind of like taken aback. Like,
he's like, you introduce us to your friend, and he's like, that's Spock. Are you dumb? And he's
you've
like,
known him for like 5
about?
years. Yeah.
And he's like, nah, this is your first officer. He's the coolest. Oh no, that doesn't happen yet.
No, that's up on the ship.
Yeah, they beam back to the ship. Like, Kirk's like, let's go back to the ship. I don't know why you guys don't know Spock. And Spock's like, oh, it's because we changed time somehow.
Yeah, they like stepped on a flower, and then the butterfly effect. It's like that movie, The Butterfly Effect, starring Ashton Kutcher.
I don't get the connection, Josh.
That's it.
But, like, they beam up, and Scotty's like, hey, what the fuck is that green-blooded hobgoblin doing here? And Kirk's like, you better show my first officer some respect. And an Andorian walks out, a pink Andorian.
He's pink?
He's pink. And
No, he's blue.
He's pink.
What is going on with your eyes?
I don't I remember him being pink several times in the episode.
Maybe I saw him as blue. Maybe he's kind of like a light blue.
He's probably
Are you colorblind?
Yes, Josh, but he's also probably blue in like half or more.
Wait,
of the
you are
shots.
for real? Did I know this?
Yeah, I said it earlier in this episode.
Oh man, where was I?
On the show.
He's blue.
Yeah, he's blue. I'm telling you, he's blue about 99% of the time. He's pink when he steps out just then.
Oh, like, because, like, the animation changes. I hate that.
He is, like, a very strange greenish shade of blue most of the time, anyway.
He looks sick. He looks like he's, like, sickly.
But
like, I don't know.
He comes out and he's pink when the camera's on him for a second, and then it cuts back, and he's like blue-green again afterwards, is what I was saying.
I don't remember that either.
It is a coloring error.
So they were like, quickly paint these 3 cells this color.
But he's like, everybody treats me with respect because I'm a warrior.
Yeah, Commander Thielen.
Yeah, Thielen.
Thielen. It's cool to see an Andorian.
Yeah,
I like how they were like, well, if it's not a Vulcan, it's got to be one of these other ones, right?
It's not a Vulcan. We'll just put whatever the other one is.
I got an Andorian, I guess. I don't know.
It's like, what? And they're like, yeah, Thalen's been your first officer for 5 years.
Yeah, what is happening?
And then Spock
Seriously.
and Kirk, in the first of many times in this episode, are just like, oh, we must have changed time, and that's what happened. They're just
fucking
understand
calm about it.
immediately.
Yeah, like kind of like the first time you went into that fucking thing.
Yeah. It's weird how it just happened exactly the same way again.
It's a good thing that the Guardian of fucking Forever is like super cool about people using him, because you can just go back in time to whenever the fuck.
He's like, fine, yeah, fix it, whatever.
We'll just go back and fix it. Yeah.
So they go to the briefing room, and the red shirt he shows the log from the mission, and he's like, yeah, we didn't do anything to change events of the future, though.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, which when I watched it, I was like, well, you went. That's changing it. Like that automatically. It's like the Heisenberg it's like, not that, it's the observer theory where like if you look at something quantumly, like it changes it, which is super fucking weird.
That is a weird theory, but it's like it really makes you think about things, especially like,
dude, it's crazy, dude.
Time travel, like you can't even just look into the past then.
That's like the shit with like the LHC, and people are like, what if we like fuck shit up?
Yeah.
We're like bouncing quantum fucking particles around like it's like whatever the fuck. Like what if we're like really fucking up time?
Look, it's all in the name of science, and if we fuck up existence, who fucking cares? It sucks.
Well, we might have made it suck.
I guess that's true.
Right?
It would be weird if we made it suck on that level, though, where it's like the universe is normal, but Earth sucks now.
Dude, it's The Fold. You gotta read the book The Fold.
I'll have to. Let me...
It's not Riverdale. You'll like it.
I haven't watched Riverdale. I don't know if I'll like it. Let me...
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. I believe it's not Ernest Cline, but the guy's name is Clines. His last name's Clines.
All right, I jotted it down this time.
It's a good book. They talk about stuff that you would like too, not just sciencey science fiction stuff.
I love sciencey science fiction stuff.
There's a Bugs Bunny reference. The whole book is like a Bugs Bunny.
I love Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, you gotta read it. It's like a book made for you.
You actually talked about it in the last episode.
I did. I've been on it lately.
I'll have to give that a read. Like, I've been looking for something when I'm not working. Mm-hmm. I need to not be looking at a screen because my eyes are going to fall out of my fucking face.
Mine are too.
So I have a book sitting next to me that I read while I'm taking breaks.
That's good.
And I've been reading this 1993 like memoir that Shatner wrote, quote unquote.
Okay.
And it's fucking hilarious because he's like so fucking full of himself.
Yeah, he's such a dick.
He's a dick about everybody except Roddenberry, whose dick he just sucks right off the whole book.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess he kind of knew he was like dying, right? Was Roddenberry dead at that point?
I don't know. I think he was dead by then.
Yeah, that's probably why. He probably didn't want to call him the dead guy a dick.
Maybe not.
The guy who gave him a career. He died in 91, so yeah.
Yeah, this came out in 93.
Yeah.
But it's called like Star Trek in My Words or something. But it has a lot of interesting stories and stuff in it. Anyway, I need a new book afterwards, so I'll look into The Fold. I'll have to get it like physically somehow.
There's this place called Bookstores.
What? A what store?
Wait.
A book what?
Is that like a Hulu for your books?
But like Spock is like, the change must have happened while we were back in time. Like while we were missing from this universe, something else changed time.
Right.
And so
which is
like,
kind of it's kind of clever how they do this.
Kinda.
At first I was like, that's stupid, but then I was like, no, that makes sense because it's a paradox, right? So like, it doesn't make sense automatically anyway, but it's kind of neat how they do it. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it is a paradox. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy type of thing. It's like a causality loop. He just hasn't completed his part of the causality loop yet.
You're just watching them at the point when they're realizing that they need to complete the causality loop, which is really cool. Like, I love that shit.
Yeah. So, like, they check out Starfleet records on Spock, and, like, he's never served in Starfleet at all. And they're like, well, okay, what about his family history? And they're like, well, Sarek has been an ambassador for 30 years.
Right.
And 17 Federation planets in the past 30 years. And Spock's like, well, that's not right.
Right.
And
because he's supposed to be, like, a councilman, right?
And he's like, well, what about his wife and son? And he's like, oh, they're both dead.
Yeah,
like,
whoops.
Spock died when he was 7 years old. And Amanda Grayson died right afterwards in a shuttle accident going back to Earth because the parents split up.
And look, the Federation still exists. It's not like George Kirk died or anything.
Look, Spock is not as important as George Kirk.
Apparently. He's only, like, the most important Star Trek character.
Apparently not. George Kirk is the most important Star Trek character. This character you don't remember or have never seen in anything.
Hey, you've heard talked about in passing maybe once. But yeah, he's the crux that he's the linchpin of the Federation.
The thing is, in, like, the long storied history of the Federation, Captain Kirk is like a hero, but he's not like the linchpin of the Federation or anything.
Like there's other shit happening, right?
Like Archer would be more appropriate. Like if Archer's dad died.
Right, that would be better, right, yeah.
But like
George Kirk. They're
like, well, we need to figure out what the fuck is going on, so let's go back to the planet. We're gonna talk to
Let's ask the robot.
We're gonna talk to the Griffin and the Pointer Sister first.
I like how the Griffin. I laughed out loud when the Griffin, I don't know what his name is looking at the tricorder. I'm like, this is the most ridiculous fucking shot.
I didn't laugh out loud then. I laughed out loud when he talked and had the most normal guy voice I've ever heard.
He's like, okay, let me check that.
He's like, well, I've looked up, and I was like, what the fuck?
He's like your dad's friend from work. He's just a Griffin.
But they're like, yeah, all we did was like scan recent Vulcan history 30 years in the past. Yeah. And nobody's like, maybe that did it?
That could have done it.
They're all just like, oh, well, when did Spock die? And they're like, oh, he died during the Caswan. Like, journey into adulthood, which apparently happens when you're 7?
It's like Pokemon for Vulcans. Go out into the wilderness and just live out there.
At least in Pokemon, you're 10. He's 7.
7 is, like, pretty young, but they're Vulcan, right? So they're, like, advanced and shit.
Yeah, I guess.
Vulcans in, like fucking 2nd grade are doing, like, calculus and crap.
I guess my question is, how many Vulcan children just die being torn to pieces by those giant neon fucking monsters that live in the desert?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but it's part of their history, dude. Who knows?
I mean, far be it from me or whatever, but...
I mean, I don't think I would want my kid to go out into the desert like that and just,
it depends on how much I like the kid, I guess.
Yeah, if it was a bad kid, I'd be like, yeah, you just go live out there.
I feel like your Caswan is only 2 years. Go ahead.
Take your sail out with you.
So, Spock's like, oh yeah, my Caswan happened on the 20th day of Tasmin.
Yeah, which I think is July.
He's like, that's the day that my cousin saves me in the desert. And Kirk's like, oh, well, what was his name? And I got a chuckle out of the fact that he goes, I was very young, so I don't remember.
I don't recall.
His name was Selleck.
Dude, Selleck. And I was like, Tom Selleck is your cousin?
I gotta laugh at that, too, but I love that he says he doesn't remember.
And then he immediately
says the name right afterwards.
Dude, animation writing, dude. It's so dumb.
He's like, yeah, my cousin Tom Selleck saved me when I was attacked in the wild.
And Kirk's like, okay, I see what's happening. And he's like, Spock, did he look like you? And then Spock was like, yes.
Because like, Kirk has seen sci-fi before, so he knows about these type of stories.
Kirk read the script before he shot the show.
He's like, did he look like you? And Spock's like, yes, he looked just like me, and I know exactly what you're thinking about.
I couldn't remember his name, but I can picture him clearly.
He looked exactly like me, and he had my voice.
So they do this again later with Alexander, right? Like,
yeah.
What's his name? Oh, fuck, I forget the guy's name.
Oh, man. I don't remember.
Frick, I gotta look that up.
But, Spock's like, yeah, I know what you're thinking, and I think you're right. I must have been the one that saved myself. I was my own cousin Selleck.
Which is crazy.
And then he's just like, all right, I'm gonna go back in time and save myself. Bye.
Yeah. See ya. Bye-bye. And then he goes in, and then he's all by himself. So I thought that was interesting, too. Like,
nobody goes with him, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, you have to go. This is like a Spock episode.
I do really like that Kirk's like, hey, Guardian, is there any way to change what happened before? And the Guardian's like, yeah, jump on in.
Yeah, the Guardian's like super fucking cool. He's like, yeah, I don't know. People just climb inside me all the time. I guess go back.
He's like, yeah, go for it. Whatever. Not my time stream. Who cares?
I'm separate from all this nonsense. Who gives a shit?
And there's a great scene where he's talking to the Andorian who took his place.
Yeah.
Thalen. And he's like, Andorians aren't known for their charity, and Thalen says, but they are known for their love of family, and I understand you wishing to save your mother.
Yeah.
So I'll wish you a great life in your own timeline. Yeah. And I thought that was great.
Yeah, he gets in the Vulcan live long and prosper, so that was cool.
That was. I love in anything. In absolutely anything, like real life movies, like fucking, or in real life, in regular movies, in sci-fi and fantasy, I love a bunch of different races of people working together.
I do too. That's why the X-Men are great.
Yeah. I absolutely love all these people from all these completely different backgrounds coming together and like doing great
Common
shit
cause.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the best story arc from Babylon 5 that happens, and I'm like, and that's when I was like, oh, this is cool. And then it gets
when does that happen?
Stupid. They fight like these like aliens from like a different galaxy or something.
Well, that's like the thing I love about the Dominion War is it forces all the races into working with each other, like races that had never worked together before.
Yeah, it's like the World War II of space, where you're like, well, I guess we'll fight with the Russians, even though they're pretty bad. Yeah. Right?
And, like, well, I mean, all fantasy is built on Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings is about the different races coming together and working together.
You gotta put aside your bullshit.
And just like everything that's about all different races coming together and working out, there's a bunch of regular white dudes.
Right.
And then one of each other race.
Oh, man.
But,
stories.
They're like, all right, so I need a Vulcan desert suit and boots.
This is great. I love this part.
And so they beam it down. They just make it. Like the costuming department is what they call it.
Yeah, which is they touch on this in Enterprise too, where there's like a quartermaster and like they don't have replicators yet. So I don't know. I mean, they make this fucking shit like instantly in this show though.
That's called the wardrobe section.
The wardrobe section, yeah. So he's like, I need a purse. I need a purse from 8876 or whatever, Vulcan years. And it's like
8877.
I was close. Shit.
You were very close.
I remember numbers pretty well. Yeah, so like, but like how much has Vulcan like fashion changed in like 30 years?
I don't know. But they just make it. They just know already. They're like, here you go.
They just sew like a purse together for it and a hood. That's cool.
But like, I love that his disguise is so well thought out. The desert soft suit and boots with a carry bag.
Right.
And he's gonna be super incognito, but he's wearing the collar of a Starfleet uniform, and the blue is perfectly visible.
Yeah,
at all times.
Like you got another shirt maybe you could put on, Spock? Like,
shouldn't Sarek be like Aren't you wearing a Starfleet uniform?
And also, is that even a Starfleet uniform right now?
Yeah, that looks like it might be a Starfleet uniform, but it is different.
Super weird looking. I thought they had those crazy suits that they wore.
Yeah, I guess, like, it would be, like, the beige sweatshirts with the turtlenecks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from, like, The Cage.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Because, I imagine those were in use for a while before they got replaced with
guess
these.
because of Discovery, though, it's those, like, jumpsuits now, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, that was, like, 10 years before.
So maybe it's, like, a even lesser good version, like an Enterprise, like, jumpsuit,
Maybe.
Right? Where they're wearing that, like NASA outfit.
So, it makes sense that he doesn't think that's a Starfleet uniform.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't have worn it. I would have been like...
Shirt.
Looks weird.
Yeah, all it took was for there to be a rip anywhere that there was a Starfleet uniform. And
yeah, then your cover's
blown,
man. Then you gotta, like, lie about that shit.
But oh well. Oh well. But Spock Scooby-Doo runs into the Guardian and travels back to Shikar. Not to be confused with
Shakar.
The guy that Kira fucks.
Yeah, Kira fucks the president.
Yeah, President Shikar. President of those pants.
President fucks a lot.
Man, if I ever get to be president, I hope that's how I'm remembered.
You can't beat Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton fucked at least 2 ladies. So.
It wasn't sex, though. He said it wasn't.
He said it wasn't, so it wasn't. That's how it works.
That's how it works.
But, like, Spock is just, like, standing outside a gate watching a bunch of bullies beat up his younger self.
Oh, man. These kids, like, wreck him. And they're also wearing, like, weird sashes.
Yeah, they're
like,
wearing,
weird...
like hall monitor sashes and underpants and nothing else.
And underoos. Vulcan underoos.
And they're, like, yelling emotionally at him?
Yeah, they couldn't get the kids to act Vulcan, right?
Yeah.
Like, because literally, I think if I'm inferring correctly from the list of who is playing whom, I think Keith Sutherland is a young kid, and I think that's the son probably of the director. Right?
I will say that I noticed this. Mm-hmm. That throughout the episode, Spock's little kid actor gets very slightly better at being a young Spock until the very end of the episode, where he's like he's quite a bit better.
Maybe that's on purpose, because like he kind of learns, right?
Yeah,
he learns
maybe.
Could be.
It doesn't make sense that the other kids all yelled and shit, but whatever.
No, it kind of it's like. Do you think that this is where Abrams stole that shit in the beginning of the first?
J.J. Abrams has never watched Star Trek, sir.
That's true. I doubt he would have ever watched this, but
I imagine
it's very
if
similar.
He walked up to J.J. Abrams and said, "Hey, J.J., did you know that there was a Star Trek animated series?" He'd be like, "What? Star Wars?"
I like that you're playing the role of me tonight. I don't even have to be me right now. It's great. I can take the night off. I don't have to hate him so much.
I fucking hate J.J.
Thank you. Thank God. That's why we're friends.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only reason.
That's the only reason. That's it.
But, like, Spock is like, yeah, my Caswan ordeal is coming up tomorrow night, so I need to ingratiate myself.
It's like a bar mitzvah or like a quinceañera for Vulcans.
Except you get sent out into the fucking desert for a day to survive, or a week, or whatever.
It's like 300, right? Like, the king goes out to live in the woods or whatever the fuck and that shit.
Yeah.
King Leonidas.
The Caswan is 10 days without food, water, or weapons in the Vulcan's forge.
The Forge. They bring back the Forge in Enterprise, too. They talk about the Forge.
It's the hottest place on Vulcan.
It's like Death Valley, yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But he's like, yeah, I gotta ingratiate myself to the Sarek family.
Mm-hmm.
So, he just introduces himself to Sarek. He's like, hey, I'm your cousin, Selleck. And he's like, oh, alright. I guess it would have been difficult to write an explanation that would make sense.
Yeah, plus Vulcans are honest, right? Like why would he not be? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I guess it's
they're a little more trusting, like in a sense that they're like,
well, yeah, Vulcans don't lie. They
don't lie, right? Even yeah.
Except Spock can, because he's half human.
Yeah, he can lie pretty well. He does a pretty good job lying about this.
Yeah, he's like, I'm your cousin, Selleck, and I'm just passing through. I'm headed towards our family's resting place, their tombs, to pay my respects.
Yeah. So they're related to T'Pel. He says T'Pel, and T'Pel is, like, super important Vulcan.
Yeah.
Like,
T'Pel is
really
actually
important.
in TOS.
Yes, she's in Enterprise, too.
Yeah. She's like a super old lady in TOS.
Yeah, she's an old lady in TOS, and in Enterprise, she's, like, 30.
I do really like the explanation of the Cas1 ordeal. Mm-hmm. In that, like, before they embraced logic, they were like a warrior race.
Yeah.
And they believed that logic might rob them of their physical abilities.
So they went out and, like, tested themselves.
Yeah, so, like, the Cas1 is a way to keep them from becoming weak and helpless because of their logic-based
Sounds a little
society.
Romulan to me.
Maybe it has its origins in, like, the proto-Vulcan society that eventually split into Vulcans
before
and
the
Romulans.
schism. Yeah.
That's pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah, I mean, the Vulcans are super strong, right? Like, they're, like, really fucking strong.
You know what's weird is that Romulans are never described as being that strong.
I think they are. Like, I think that they are that strong, but, like, they're... I mean, at that point, like, whatever, right?
However
like,
long it's been since they, like, split, Romulans have been living on a planet with normal gravity. Like, Vulcan has higher gravity is why they're supposed to be so much stronger.
It's like a John Carter explanation. I just like that they're just stronger, because, like, why wouldn't they be, right? Like, I don't think you really need to,
I think that's the explanation. I don't remember exactly.
We always talk about, like, did the Romulans, like, engineer themselves a little differently, right?
They
like,
could be using, like, DNA engineering on themselves.
Yeah, they could have modified it. They talk about in Enterprise how, like, Vulcans have, like, the second eyelids and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because the light.
Because they're on a fucking desert planet as well. They have to block out the sand.
Archer's like, why don't you wear these glasses? And T'Pol is like, I don't need your glasses. My eyes are glasses.
Yeah.
And Archer's like, huh, really?
Yeah, Vulcan has considerably higher gravity and thinner atmosphere. And also higher base temperatures than Earth, so...
Well, it would fucking suck to live there.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't want to fucking live on Vulcan.
Living, like, just, like, 30 pounds heavier. Ugh.
Well, as a Vulcan, you'd be strong as fuck, though, because of it, so it doesn't matter.
As a person, as a human, though, you'd be like, ugh.
Oh, yeah.
I like how the kids call little Spock Earther. Like,
yeah, that's a slur, buddy.
Super fucking insulting, dude.
Amanda Grayson lives on Vulcan with no problem. She must be strong as fuck.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I wouldn't want to get into a fist fight with Amanda Grayson.
She also gets fucked by a Vulcan, so, like, that probably makes her stronger.
She's the type of lady that could fucking punch your head off and you wouldn't even realize it.
That's my type of lady.
Josh has got a thing for Amanda Grayson, everybody.
Not a redhead, though, but we'll work around it.
Yeah, I wouldn't let Sarek find out about that, especially not near the Pon Far.
It wouldn't be logical for him to get in a fight with me, unless it's Pon Far, like you said.
Yeah, he would rip you apart on Pon Far.
Nah, dude, I'll take one of those Vulcan sticks and just be like, whatever, let's fight.
That worked out for Kirk real well.
Yeah, he almost died.
But, he, like, kind of, like, ingratiated himself with him, and he's like, I'll stay at your house, right? And they're like, yeah.
Sure.
And he talks to Amanda about Spock's position, and Amanda, like, has this weird, like... I like, saw it for one split second as, like, a Back to the Future moment, where it seems like she's kind of attracted to her own adult son.
Oh, no.
Where she's like, you understand him better than his father does.
Yeah, I think, they were going for the, like, you're very insightful or whatever.
And
they kind of hint that both of them maybe know something's up, because Sarek is like, for a moment I thought, like, I recognized you. And Spock's like, must be the resemblance to our forefather.
Yeah.
Like, he bullshits his way out of it.
It's real clever. He pulls that card out real quick.
Yeah.
And
it's like, nah, I'm your son from the future, dude. I went through a robot gate. It's hard to explain that one.
I mean, logically, he should be able to explain it and it would be fine, but he would change the timeline.
Vulcans are super not into time travel. They really hate it.
I don't doubt that. It's very illogical.
They, in Enterprise, they're always like, the line is like, the Vulcan science directorate has said that time travel is impossible. Like, they repeat that line over and over again, and Archer is like, yeah, I heard about it, but we're fucking time traveling. Like, he's like, I don't care fucking what the Vulcan science directorate says.
Spock has his fucking pet Salat. Its name is Ichea.
Yeah, Salots are like super, like saber-toothed tigers, right?
Yeah, and it looks like a Scooby-Doo character.
It is a Scooby-Doo. I think it's like a Wacky Races character.
It really is. It even has like the voice that almost sounds like it's talking.
Yeah, it's fucking super Hannah Barbera.
And really out of place in the show, even, but
in reality, the reality of Star Trek, Salots are like, they're like big cats, right?
Yeah, they're like giant saber-toothed cat monsters.
They'll like kill you. They're like fucking crazy.
Although they do have them as pets sometimes.
They do keep them as pets. I have one in Star Trek Online.
They're only slightly smaller than wild Salots, apparently.
Yeah.
But Ichea wants to go on the Caswan, and of course he can't. That's not allowed. So Spock's like, no.
No, Ichea, I don't want you to. That's how he talks.
The thing that happens before that is that Spock is talking to his mom, and he's like, he's going on his Caswan tomorrow, right? And she's like, no, it's in a month. And he's like, what?
Yeah, he's like, what year is it?
Did I misremember or make a mistake? But then, of course, it turns out that Spock sneaks out at night to go on his own Caswan.
He goes before he's supposed to because he wants to prove that because his dad's filling his brain full of crazy shit.
His dad's being a real fucking asshole is what he's doing.
That's him. That's fucking Sarek, right?
Yeah.
Like, Sarek's like the worst father of all time.
He's
like,
pretty fucking bad. He's like, he's like, you'll do it and you'll do it perfectly. And he's like, but what if I don't, Dad? And he's like, you will.
You won't disappoint me.
Or you know you won't disappoint me. And he's like, oh.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm going to go out and find out whether I'm meant to be Vulcan or human, because that's something that Sarek puts in his head.
Yeah, he fills his head full of crazy.
And Spock remembers.
Like dads are wont to do.
It does happen. Adult Spock is like, of course. Like, I forgot somehow that I did this.
Because the show requires me to not remember this.
Because I got hit in the head a lot during my adventures. But he, like, Spock goes into the desert, and Ichea the Salat follows him.
I'm coming with you.
Are you gonna ditch me?
Come on, Spock.
But they go out into the desert, and there's some great animation of a silhouette walking through the desert that gets shown like 30 times.
Yeah, they reuse the shit out of it.
And Spock gets attacked alongside Ichea by a big fucking neon green ass monster.
It's like a dinosaur.
It's a Lamatea?
Not to be confused with a Tomatea. Tomatea? Is that Spanish for like tomatoes?
Tomatillo?
Tomatillo. There it is. I took German. I didn't take Spanish.
Lamatia is the name of it. A Lamatia.
A Lamaya?
Lamatia. Matya.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter because it never shows up in Star Trek ever again.
It's the only one on Vulcan. It's endangered species and they kill it.
It's gone now.
It's dead.
But like Spock, it doesn't kill it. It gives it a Vulcan nerve pinch.
I thought he like snuck up behind it and snapped its neck and did the shh, go to sleep.
Snapped its neck like fucking Big Boss. Dragged its corpse into a trash can. But he's like, oh no, Ichea is badly injured. That didn't happen in my timeline. What the fuck?
Yeah, he gets stung by like, it has like poison or some shit.
Yeah, it has poisoned claws. Which seems like it would be a problem if it scratched itself or something, but whatever.
Nah, that shit's immune. Like, snakes can't bite themselves, right?
If a scorpion stings itself, it dies.
That's because scorpions are idiots.
Scorpions aren't smart, but I don't want to say that on the podcast in case one hears and comes after me. So scorpions
your
are super
shoes.
smart.
I had an ex-girlfriend from Arizona who would check her shoes, and I'd be like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm checking my shoes." I'm like, "We don't have that shit here. You don't have to do that.
Check your shoes for spiders.
Check your shoes for like cat throw up. That's the main
also
concern
true.
in my house.
That's also true here, but
No scorpions though.
one time when I was a kid, I went to put my foot into a boot.
Fuck this story already.
I stopped for some reason. Like, I don't know why I stopped.
You're psychic.
But I pulled my foot back, and there was a humongous fucking spider looking up at me from in the boot.
Nah, man.
And I threw the boot out the window.
Dude, that's fucked up.
And I threw it into the fucking snow out the window.
You threw it out the window, and like all you hear outside is ah, and a car crashes.
I thought you meant the spider was screaming.
Oh, the spider? No, fuck that, man.
It's so cold.
We used to get these really big spiders at my old house that were like these big fucking black and yellow things.
Oh my god.
It was terrifying. Like, I remember seeing one. It made this huge web in between these hedges, like the size of a doorway. The web was so big, and I was like, "This is fucked up."
Dude,
I remember being like terrified of it.
I was watching Raiders the other day, and you know the part at the beginning where the guy gets the spiders all over him?
Yeah, and he brushes them off
And
with the whip.
he just brushes them off. I told my wife 100%, if that ever happened to me, I would pull my gun out and blow my brains out.
That's it.
Because that's enough for me. That's enough
When there's
living.
like 30 tarantulas on your back.
That
you're
is
like, nope.
enough living for me. I'm
I
done.
know, you hate spiders a lot.
I had I still have arachnophobia, but when I was a kid,
On
like,
DVD or on VHS?
oh, I would never have that movie. Like, as a kid, like, I was terrified of spiders. Like, I would, like, flip my fucking shit when I saw a spider. As an adult, like, I go into, like, Terminator vision, where my vision just fucking turns red, and I have to murder. I have to.
That's okay. Like, people are always like, spiders are good or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine, but
Like,
they're also horrifying.
People that kill me, because they're like, well, if spiders went around, there'd be bugs everywhere. Yeah, bugs don't bother me, dipshit. Like, that's fine.
Right.
I don't care.
It's like the people who are like, well, car accidents are way more frequent than airplane accidents. And it's like, yeah, but I'm not afraid of driving in a car.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
It's true. That is very true. That's people are always saying that to me when they find out that I have arachnophobia.
They try to logic your fear away.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and
that's not how it works.
A phobia is an irrational fear. I can't help it.
I can't fix it, yeah. I've tried, trust me. It doesn't
definitely made it less bad.
By, like, having 30 tarantulas on you?
No, I would just kill myself. But
tarantulas are fucking scary, dude.
I had a friend in high school who had a tarantula, and I never went to his house. Ever.
Did you not even to burn it down?
No. Not even to burn it down, because then maybe the tarantula would survive and then it would get outside.
That's such a fear thought. That's such an irrational. That's so true, though.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a big green dog, so it's not as scary, but it does get choked out really easily. But Ichea, Spock's beloved pet, is badly injured, and Spock's like, "Well, we need to go to the city, but it's a really long ways away." So, like, I'll go. And the kid's like, no, it's my responsibility. I'll go
save Ichea. Yeah.
And
so he goes and he has his own bonsoir, or whatever. Bonsoir.
Kaswan?
Bonsui.
Man. If this was a real thing, all these other names would be super racist to be saying.
Good thing we got a couple of years yet till the Vulcans land in Bozeman, Montana. I can get all my racisms out.
Hopefully they don't listen to podcasts to find out about human beings.
They wouldn't care anyway, dude. They think we're idiots. So
and we are.
Well, yeah, but like...
We're the dumbest fucking people in the entire universe.
Yeah, well then we save everybody, so get over it.
We become good eventually.
Yeah, we figure it out, sorta.
But he goes to find a healer, and the healer like he's like, "Hey, aren't you the Spock that's fond of human pranks?"
Yeah, he's the boy who cried Sailot.
And I'm like, "Wait a second, Spock was pranking people as a kid?"
Pranks? He had his own YouTube channel called Spock pranks.
Spanks. Spranks was the name of it.
And his catchphrase was, "You got spranked."
You just got spranked.
Yeah.
Sorry,
He's big in
Sarah.
it.
Sorry, Dad. You just got spranked.
He was big into pranks, dude. You didn't know that?
Apparently. But he's like...
Everybody knew that.
He's like, nah, have I ever lied, though? And he's like, no. Somehow I know that. So let's go.
I'm an old man who's wise. Let's get in my pink space car.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'd get the pink space car any day.
This fucking dude, I laughed at the pink space car. I was like, what in the fuck? This old ass doctor's got a Corvette. He's driving his kid around it.
The thing that I laughed about with the pink space car is that it bends when it moves.
Yeah, it's like
fucking
animated.
Terrible filmation animation.
Yeah, it's like a clip art moving across it. It's like weird.
Fucking when Speed Buggy talks, it bends in weird ways, but it's just a regular vehicle.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's gotta be.
the healer arrives and he's like, yeah, he's gonna die. I can either euthanize him or he can live a painful 5 minutes. Those are your choices. And Spock makes the correct, wise choice that he'll have to let Aichea go. And
It's fucking. This is like the saddest shit. Like it turns into fucking Futurama's Jurassic Park all of a sudden.
Man, not that sad. Jesus.
Like I was like, fuck, dude. Like I don't want to fucking get involved with this Salot euthanasia. Like get the fuck out of here.
It's that decision though, right? Like he has to like he wants to keep Aichea, and that's a very emotional need.
It's attachment.
Or
he wants the.
He can release Aichea from his suffering, which is a very logical decision. He has to choose between the human option or the Vulcan option.
The Vulcan option.
And he chooses the Vulcan.
He decides to be a Vulcan.
So they go back to Sarek's house, and Sarek says, "I'm proud of you, Spock. I'll never say this to you again in your entire life. I'm proud of you.
I'm just gonna fuck you up even more
Forever.
over time until you're incredibly messed up from all of this.
At a certain point, we're literally never going to speak to each other again.
And you'll probably do something crazy like go to Romulus and try to
Fucking
whatever.
blow it up." Hey, did you hear about the Kirk series is taking Romulus exploding into its timeline?
Wait, what?
The
series?
Picard series.
Oh,
sorry.
the Picard series?
The Picard series, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Did you also hear who's in charge of it?
Is it Damon Lindelof?
No. Think of worse.
Is it the other guy?
Probably. Who's the other guy?
I don't remember his
It's
name.
Alex Kurtzman.
Kurtzman, yeah, of course it is. Of course it is.
Talk
dude. about
about a fucking red flag right there, but...
Yeah, I don't...
I'm gonna give a hot take. I'm gonna give you a hot take here.
Oh, hot takes.
And people might get mad at me for this. There was a little article I read that talked about this. That talked about Alex Kurtzman being involved, about like Picard taking place after Romulus explodes, all this stuff.
Right.
It also said that when Picard was asked to come back on board, or Picard, he's really Picard in real life.
Yeah, Jean-Luc Picard, the actor.
But when Patrick Stewart was asked to come back, he said the only way I'll come back is if it's entirely different from TNG in every way.
Okay.
He said it has to be completely different. It has to be what people would want, but not what they expect at all. And
well, that should be easy, since people are so clear about what they want and expect.
Yeah. I love Patrick Stewart. He's a great guy, amazing actor. He is not a writer.
No, he's not.
And he has agreed to do some genuinely embarrassing, terrible roles.
Yeah,
I don't think he should be deciding whether Star Trek should be more like Star Trek or be completely different.
He's also very old.
It's true.
And when you get old, here's another hot take. When you get old, you start to say crazy stuff.
That's not a
your
hot
brain
take
is,
as much as it is the real world.
Yeah, but nobody wants to hear that shit.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear, like, Patrick Stewart might not be, like, at his best, right? Like, look, I love Patrick Stewart.
It sucks
to
to
death.
think about, but I mean, he is getting older.
I love that man. And when he goes, it'll be horrible.
Yeah.
But Patrick Stewart is... like you said, I don't think he should be, like, determining what goes on.
Who knows? But
yeah, but he's already saying, like, that stuff. It's, like, another red flag, right? Like,
people talk to me all the time. They're like, oh, well, like, I would like it if Patrick Stewart got more involved with, like, the writing and behind-the-scenes stuff. And I'm like, Patrick Stewart is one of the greatest actors of our generation.
Yeah, he doesn't do that stuff.
He might be the best actor of our generation. I don't know. It's probably between him and his best friend, Ian McKellen.
Yeah, they're great.
Who's the best actor of our generation.
They're both great.
Right. Neither of them are writers, though.
Right.
And, like, writing is an entirely different skill than acting.
Yeah. It requires a certain, like, forethought that a lot of people don't have. Like, to write something and to see, like, a tone. It's tough. It's really fucking hard to do.
And I mean, like, understanding what Star Trek is, I feel like Patrick Stewart probably understands what Star Trek is and what it means better than a lot of the people that were on it.
Yeah.
But he's not, like, a fan. He was never a Star Trek fan before the show, and he's probably not even thought about it since, for the most part.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Not really devil. I'm gonna talk us down, both of us, from the ledge here.
Sure.
This could just be some article bullshit.
Oh,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean? And I'm hoping that it is just, like, a write-up about some shit. Alex Kurtzman, that worries the fuck out of me, because he sucks ass at everything he's ever done.
It's true.
It's terrible. The Romulan thing is fine, because, like, in the post-canon that I kind of like the game canon, that's a thing. It gives the Romulans something to do, you know?
It's true. I mean, the thing... At the end of the day, we're all going to have to remember is that the show's not out yet.
Right.
And that all of our expectations, one way or the other, could be completely flipped. There is a fear deep within my gut that this show's going to come out and it's going to be exactly what we want. It's going to be, even if it's not exactly what we want.
And they're going to hate it. People are going to hate it.
Even if it's not exactly what we want, it's going to be heavily in the spirit of Star Trek.
I would prefer that.
And then everybody hates it.
I would prefer that.
The general audiences fucking hate it. They cancel it, and they just double down on dumb shit.
I think over time that is way more valid. I mean, we talk about this on, like, Continue and shit. Like, people didn't really like Blade Runner. Like, when Blade Runner came out, people were like, what? Like, it looked cool, but people were like, this is weird. And then, like, 30 years later, people are like, this is one of the greatest fucking movies of the century.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like, it just didn't have its audience, I think, with Blade Runner. Like,
yeah, people weren't, like, ready. They weren't, like, they didn't know
It
yet,
was a movie before its time. Like, Blade Runner, if I had to pick, like, my single favorite sci-fi movie...
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess RoboCop's sci-fi.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Love RoboCop.
It would be very difficult, and it always has been, to choose between RoboCop and Blade Runner. Because I love Blade Runner.
I just mean, like, I would prefer it to be not good in its time, but be great overall. Like, I would prefer that.
I would prefer that between the two options for sure. But man,
yeah, I would rather.
I would
if it
hate
sucks,
to live through the backlash against that.
I don't care. You know what? People are fucking idiots.
Yeah, people smart.
People like dog shit, and they're like fine with like stupid shit. I mean, fuck, dude. I watch Riverdale, right? It's terrible.
You love stupid shit. It's true.
But like that's Archie, and like who like nobody's clamoring. Like Archie doesn't mean anything.
Archie has no secondary level of meaning behind it at all.
It's a comic about a kid who like has 3 ways with 2 girls, right? I mean, he
wishes, but whatever.
He wishes, but like. Yeah, it's like his love triangle, right? Which is dumb. It's like a 50s fucking, like, dumb shit.
Yeah.
But Star Trek has, like, as we'll see, like, with especially the next episode that we do, like, how
we get
fucking...
to do the Inner Light next, Jesus.
How important the show, like, is. Like, how good it is.
Well, since we do have a little bit more of the episode to talk about, and we've gone on a tangent for about an hour... we'll take a break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Imagine, if you will, an announcer you can barely understand. He refers to it, but you're not quite sure what he said. He seems to be eating something, or perhaps he's a little drunk. It's remotely possible that he just said something about the scary door.
It's all over. Our guns and bombs are useless against the aliens.
The saucers, they's a creation.
In the end, it was not guns or bombs that defeated the aliens, but that humblest of all God's creatures, the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
And we're back with the thrilling conclusion of the episode Yesteryear.
It turns out it was man.
Turns out it's man.
The scary door.
But, like, Spock is like, I can't believe that Ichea died, you know? Like, this didn't happen the first time I went through my fake Keswan or whatever.
So it didn't happen, which is weird.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about this episode is, like, he does change history.
Right, he kind of makes himself, I don't know, better, I guess? I don't know. Is that
it's not
how
a
it works?
causality loop is the thing, because the same thing has to happen in a causality loop.
Right now you've gone into alternate reality, right? Where you've branched off.
Which is super strange to happen in an animated episode.
Right, and like, but then he goes back and like, everything's fine. Like,
Yeah,
which
nothing's
is weird.
changed.
Yeah, which is super fucking weird. I don't know.
And Kirk says, you know, it's not, it wasn't...
How does he go back?
Huh?
How does he get back?
He jumps back through the door.
The door is there?
I guess. It doesn't show that side.
Was he just like have a beeper and he's like, I'm ready. Come
Well,
pick
that's
me
the
up at
thing.
the mall.
That's the thing, it doesn't show that side in City on the Edge of Forever either. They just hop back through.
How does it work?
I don't know.
Do they just like shout into the sun, to the stars like, I'm ready, robot?
That's a good question, actually. I have no fucking clue.
I was trying to think. I was like, wait, how does he go? Like, where does he stand? Like, where's the place you go to?
Maybe
right?
if you jump just right, you can go back through.
It's like 88 miles an hour, right? You gotta run at like
You gotta
20
run
miles
88 miles per hour and jump through it.
Vulcans can do it. They're like the cheetahs of
Vulcans are
people.
the cheetahs of humanoids.
Not even the Cadians can run that fast.
But there's a great line where Kirk says, like, the loss of a pet isn't much when it comes to the course of time itself. And Spock says, it might be to some people. It might be to some people.
Dude, it sucks, man.
Yeah.
Losing, it's tough.
Losing, especially a childhood pet.
Yeah, it's
like,
terrible,
I'm not going to
dude.
tell the story about me losing my childhood pet, but it was
Me
fucking
neither.
traumatizing.
All pets are traumatizing, dude.
Yeah, losing a pet in general, even as an adult, is just fucking horrible.
I think it's worse as an adult, honestly. It's way worse.
I don't know. As a kid, I couldn't rationalize anything about it. Like,
Yeah.
I was too young to understand.
My default is like get mad. Like I'm fight or flight, right? I fight more than I flight always.
Yeah.
So I always just sort of like turn it into bitterness.
Yeah, you're like the Donald Duck of humanoids.
Can he run 88 miles an hour? Or
He's got a
swim?
corkscrew dick, so you're pretty similar.
Oh man, that is like way similar. But I have two corkscrew dicks, because I'm also half Klingon duck.
You know, I would imagine you as a half Klingon. I could see
It makes sense, right? I
Yeah.
could play a Klingon.
Yeah, I'm like
It would
I'm like the half Vulcan, like Spock's brother.
Oh, in 5,
Yeah, that's me.
go to Paradise City or whatever the fuck.
Take me down to the Paradise City.
Everyone always thinks that when they
Yeah.
somehow are watching Star Trek 5 for whatever reason. It's on TNT or something, and they're like, all right, whatever.
McCoy starts bitching immediately because he was like, I gotta give everybody a physical, and
he's gotta recalibrate it for. He's super racist.
I gotta recalibrate it for the Vulcan.
It's like, damn, dude. How many other aliens are on the ship?
Apparently none.
Well, there's a griffin.
Yeah, at some point there's a griffin on board.
How does that even work? And there's that guy with like weird 3 arms and stuff.
I guess my question is, why is McCoy racist against Vulcans when there's a griffin? That's way more alien and weird. Like, what are you doing?
I always thought it was just because, like, he's ribbing him, right? Like,
yeah,
he likes to rib him.
Back in the day, if you had a friend who wasn't white, you could just playfully be racist at them, and it was totally okay.
It was totally fine, yeah.
And that's McCoy.
You're different, right? Yeah.
You're not normal, right?
Yeah, you're not a normal person like us.
But Spock says if it wasn't for a fluke of time, then you'd have to recalibrate for an Andorian. And McCoy's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Is that a joke? That's a stupid joke.
Yes.
Vulcans don't make jokes.
Spock says, times change, Doctor. Times change.
They love ending on his, like, one-liners,
Yeah,
dude.
and it's great.
It always works. It hits
love
always. Even in this goofy-ass cartoon.
This is probably the most down-to-earth episode of TAS. This could have been a TOS episode so easily.
This would have been a great original series episode.
Yeah. Like, there's no ridiculous shit in it. I guess
they don't fight Quetzalcoatl.
The Salat and the La Mancha are like, they would have to do something weird for that.
Yeah, they could make like a goofy costume or like put a lion in a fucking suit or something.
They definitely would have made some like costume that some guy would be wearing.
Yeah, it would have been like a guy in a like the pizza outfit, right?
Like the La Mancha would have definitely been like a big goofy hairy monster suit, which would have been great.
Yeah, it would have been like one of those famous like the fucking
like the Gorn.
The Gorn
or the salt monster.
Yeah.
I fucking love those.
That shit rules. Yeah, I mean, this, like, so when I first watched this series, like, this was obviously the second episode I watched, and I was like, oh, okay, this is great. I was like, if this is, like, how the show is gonna be, like, why don't I know? But then you get to, like, fucking Satan and Quetzalcoatl, and you get, like, the fucking, like spaceship that's from like a different galaxy that goes in reverse time, and you're like, what the fuck are we even doing here, man?
The funniest thing about all of that is that all of that fucking ridiculousness still has some sort of Trek underpinning.
Right.
Like, they meet Satan, but the idea is not to judge someone by the way they look.
Even Satan.
Yeah, even Satan is redeemable.
Right, even Satan can be saved.
And that's a Star Trek as fuck thing to put in your show.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I like, if you want to watch, like, just, like, have something on while you're doing whatever, just watch this fucking show. Like, it's great. It's like Saturday morning. It's great, man.
It really is like Saturday morning, like when you woke up really early and they played like the really old cartoons first.
Dude, I used to get up so early that like we had, I don't know if other places have this or I don't know, but in the 80s and early 90s, there was a show called Puerto Rican Panorama, which was like a Puerto Rican like culture talk show. And it was on like in the Philadelphia area.
Yeah, we didn't have that in West Virginia, buddy.
Well, I don't know if like people like in other like civilized parts of the world.
I do live in the Badlands.
Maybe like people in New York had it, or, like whatever. But like I would wake up and like Puerto Rican Panorama would be on, and I would be like, oh my god, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and I would get my dinosaurs out of my toy chest or whatever. And I would set up all my dinosaurs around the room, and I would just wait for the fucking cartoons, dude.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
It's, like, such a good memory I have of being a kid.
If you woke up at, like, 5 in the morning on a Saturday, which I wasn't super in the habit of doing.
I did it all the time, which is crazy, because, like, I wake up at, like, 10 o'clock every day.
Like, if you woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning here, they played really old cartoons in the morning. Like, they played modern cartoons at the time, like early 90s cartoons.
Right.
But earlier in the morning, they would play like Popeye and Scooby-Doo and like shitty Filmation cartoons.
Yep. I like Scooby. I like when Scooby-Doo was on. I was big into that. That was like a Sunday morning cartoon.
Oh, yeah?
Because I remember watching like Scooby and eating like Fruity Pebbles before church. Because my mom forced me to go worship a fake god. So I would eat that and just watch fucking Scooby-Doo and be like not that into it, but at the time I was like, this is brilliant. The show's brilliant. This is
great. I didn't know it was gonna be Old Man Sears again.
My stupid 6-year-old brain didn't catch on yet.
Dude, the greatest moment, like a very formative moment in my life, now that I'm thinking about it, is like when Cartoon Network first started.
Yeah.
And I stayed up late one night. Like, I loved Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network was my favorite thing.
I loved it too.
It was just on my TV at all times.
We never had it for a long time.
We didn't either.
I remember when like they announced like we were getting Cartoon Network. I was in high school. I was probably like a sophomore in high school, and I was like, fuck, dude, I'm watching the shit out of this crap. And it was always on.
Like, I just always kept it on, and like the big formative moment for me was I stayed up late one night and they played Toonheads.
Toonheads, yeah.
Where they like
cool.
told behind the scenes stuff about cartoons, and I was like, holy fuck, this is amazing.
Dude, they used to play some really weird shit before Adult Swim was really like a thing.
They played weird shit at night.
Dude, they would play like Oh Canada, which was like Canadian cartoon. It was fucking weird.
They had all these shows at night for like older folks that like older cartoons. Like they had, my favorite was probably either Toonheads or the Tex Avery Show.
Tex Avery Show, yeah.
I loved the Tex Avery Show.
Yeah, man, you had to stay up till like 2 in the morning to watch that shit.
Yep.
Which was like, I was in high school, so that was like normal for me.
I wasn't. I don't think I was in high school. I was not in high school yet. I'm 3 years younger than you, right?
Yeah, so you probably were still in middle school.
Yeah. I didn't stay up that late normally until I found out Toonhead was the one. Then I stayed up that late for the rest of my life.
One of the things I think that like shaped me as like a person is I remember, like I was telling you, I was in jazz band earlier before the show started, and so we'd have competitions like on like Saturday nights or whatever. So we'd have to like travel to like different schools and like play and shit, which is like a thing that I wound up just like doing as a living. You know, like now like, we kind of do that shit. Also, I was in bands and shit, and we'd always do shit. But
what were
I would
the
get
names
home
of your bands, Josh?
I'm not going to tell you that.
No.
I'll tell you later, but I'm not going to tell you.
I'm not going to tell you, the audience.
Yes, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But like, so we'd get home like from these competitions at like 1:30, 2 in the morning, and I remember like being like jacked up because like you were like competing and playing music, and it was like fun, you know, like it was like fun, like. And I remember, like, just staying up and watching Mystery Science Theater, because, like, I never knew, like, it existed until...
They only played it late.
It was on at, like, 1, 2 in the morning, right, on Comedy Central, and I remember just being like, oh my god, like, this shit is incredible. Like, why is this not just how television is? Like,
I remember
it's
being
so
enamored
fun
with Mystery Science Theater. Like, it's one of those things, like I've talked about before, where... And I guess, like... we've kind of sort of done with M-Class emails and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that it's one of those things that you watch and it seems like a contained universe.
Right.
That, like, is beaming straight to your TV instead of being, like, just a show you're watching.
Right. It felt like your friends, right? Which is, like, really hard to do.
Oh, yeah.
For a show.
I mean, like... That's the internet now, though, right? Like, content is made to be, like, replacement friends. Like, we are definitely our listeners' replacement friends for their lame friends.
We are their friends. But we're, like, better.
Yeah, their friends are lame, so they listen to us because we're cooler.
That's
unless their friends also listen to us.
And then they're also cooler.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Archie. Like, Archie's my best friend now.
Yeah.
And Veronica and Jughead...
Jughead is definitely my best friend.
And Sabrina.
Sabrina is not my best friend.
And who else?
I know what happens to Sabrina's best friends. I don't want anything to do with that shit.
She slits their throats. which is awesome.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to happen, but
That's like the thing about that show. Like that's what's great about Sabrina being on Netflix. They're like, fuck it, whatever.
yeah,
Just do whatever you want.
I just love
right?
that they took the concept like, oh, this teenage witch who goes on wacky adventures
It's
with
goofy.
her magic.
Yeah.
Actually, she fucking worships Satan.
She's a murdering Satan worshiper. It's
Yeah.
amazing, dude. It's great.
And
We
not
can do
like
a Satan's collection.
Oh shit, that's a great idea.
That's the whole show. It's just Satan.
The Satan's collection, Sabrina.
Every episode.
There is I have a bone to pick with Sabrina really quick.
Oh, fuck.
Early on in the show, whenever Satan shows up, he's like a big, scary, horrible animatronic man.
Yeah, he's like a goat man.
Yeah,
like a
and then
Baphomet is what they call him, right?
When he shows up later in the show, it's a guy in a regular robe with a mask on, and the mouth moves in the background.
When does he show up later?
Like when she has her dark baptism, like the actual one.
Oh, like at the end.
He's like standing behind her. That happens a couple times where he's standing behind her, and it's a guy in a mask and a hood.
Well, do we know that?
I thought that was
him?
really funny.
Do we know it's really him though? You know what I mean?
Look, I know my Lord and Master when I see him. I just thought it was really funny. I
love in that show, instead of saying like thank God, they're like, oh, thanks Satan. It's so good.
Praise
dude.
Satan.
Praise Satan. It's so fucking good.
It is a great show.
It's super fun. Kids murdering each other.
Yeah. None of that happens on the animated series that I know of. Satan does show up though.
In this, they do. Yeah, he does.
I don't highly recommend the animated series, but I do recommend it.
But you should watch it. Yeah, you should definitely watch it.
If you like TOS, if you're like a big fan of TOS, I think the animated series is worth it to watch. I don't think I would ever list it as like being necessary to watch.
Oh, no. It's supplementary material.
Yeah, it's just if you want some more Trek.
Yeah, it's it's for me. It's like background Trek, right? Like if I watch like Enterprise or Next Gen, like I'm focused on, I'm watching it, right? But like when I want to have that like background sleepy Star Trek experience, I'll put on the animated series.
I don't think I could sleep while watching this. It's too fucking wacky.
Dude, it is trippy as fuck. They fight Quetzalcoatl.
You and Quetzalcoatl, you're like fucking real hung up on Quetzalcoatl.
It's weird. It's just fucking stupid. They were like, okay, what do like white people from America not know about Quetzalcoatl? Let's make him an alien. It's fucking
true.
Ancient Aliens, dude. They're like, he comes back, he's an ancient alien, which was like, this is when Ancient Aliens like started, like in the early 70s, like the whole like Chariots of the Gods, like that's where that shit comes from. Is like people getting high as fuck thinking about aliens and being like, what if they're like the Vikings were aliens?
What if like, gods are aliens?
What if like the Egyptians were aliens? Like that's where that comes from.
What if everyone who came before us was just aliens and we're the only humans?
Dude.
So I have one last John Larroquette's fun fact of the week.
This has been a chock full of fun facts episode.
It's true. The sucker vines, which appear for like literally 2 seconds in the episode, like Spock is running to get help for his dead dog, and he like steps into a plant that grabs onto him, and he just runs away.
Yeah, which makes sense, I guess.
As it turns out, that was supposed to be a full scene of him wrestling his way out of the sucker vines.
Okay.
But NBC thought it was too hot for TV, and they censored it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A kid just surrounded by a bunch of vines, like that's a thing people would think about. They would be like, oh man, look at, like, what the fuck?
I think it may have been like the way they animated it and the voice acting and stuff. It was like too violent.
Maybe it was too. Oh, okay. It was too like scary.
Yeah, they thought it was too scary for kids, so they censored.
I thought you meant like it was too
it's too hot for TV, like a police chase, not like a Girls Gone Wild.
Oh. That's stupid. That's so stupid. Television fucking sucks, dude.
How interesting. DC Fontana said that working on this episode was great.
Way to go, DC!
Way to
Dorothy, whatever your name is.
Way
Dorothy.
to go in literally everything. Just doing a great job all the fucking time.
I'm assuming she is not alive anymore.
I think she is.
Wow.
I think.
Wow.
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 Yeah, she does not have a date of death. She's 79 years old.
Oh, she's only 79. That's not, like, too old.
It's not too old for me. That's what Josh was saying. And also what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's too hot for the podcast, but...
Too hot for TV, DC Fontana.
Big into G-MILFs.
Dorothy Catherine Fontana.
That's her name. Yeah, that's it.
Born in Sussex, New Jersey.
Ugh, that sucks.
Ugh. I've only been in New Jersey once. I was there for 10 minutes while a train stopped.
Yeah, that's about as much time as you need.
On my way to New York City, and it smelled really bad.
New Jersey fucking blows. People, like, they're always like, you can always tell who's from New Jersey, because they will fucking get mad as fuck at you for making fun of New Jersey.
Yeah,
like,
the only people who take up for New Jersey are New Jersey people.
Yeah, people can make fun of Pennsylvania, and I'm like, yeah, it fucking sucks here. Like, Pennsylvania blows. We're idiots here. Like, we could, like, just recently, we could just buy beer in the fucking grocery store, right? Like, we're morons. Yeah. But, like, New Jersey is, like, it sucks, and people get so fucking mad.
Like, West Virginia sucks, and I accept it. Except your state sucks as well.
Yeah, it sucks everywhere.
That's how it works.
Yeah. You don't gotta, like, convince me. First of all, what are you, New Jersey? Are you Pennsylvania or are you New York? You're neither. You're nothing.
Damn.
Get over it.
Damn. I guess you got told today, New Jersey.
I fucking hate you, New Jersey.
Any of our fans who live in New Jersey, get fucked.
At least you're not from Kansas, though.
Yeah, we've definitely, like, burned all bridges with Kansas and everyone in it.
We make fun of all the states, to be fair.
It's true.
Florida. I think we made fun of Arkansas at one point.
I've definitely made fun of Florida a lot.
We make fun of Florida because we talk about Tripp being from Florida.
Also, like, I've been to Florida, and it's even existing in Florida is just awful because it's so fucking humid.
Yeah, in the summertime, we used to go every year, and in the summertime, it's fucking brutal.
And also, your state's full of old racists. So
yeah, and meth heads, and your state looks like a ding-dong.
Which is awesome. That's a plus. That's in the pros column.
Oh, yeah. We're doing like a pros cons list.
Pros
here.
con. West Virginia. I'm here. Con. Everything else.
There it is. That's it.
This is going to be a little shorter episode than usual. As you may have noticed, we're done talking about the episode, even though we went on tangents for the whole time.
Well, the episode's 22 minutes long.
It's 22 minutes, and Spock literally just goes back in time, and Vulcan neck pinches a cat, and then comes back into the future.
Just all in a day's work.
Yeah. It's a good episode, though. I do recommend it. I mean,
this episode's cool.
I'm sure you've already watched it.
Of all the ones from the animated series, this is the one you want to watch.
I agree with that.
And the Satan.
Yeah. Well, you've already seen the Satan's one if you're listening to this.
Yeah.
We don't get new fans, so I just assume that everybody's...
Why not? Why don't they tell your friends about... Tell your friends and moms and dads about M-Class Podcast with your two best friends, Jeff and Josh.
M-Class Podcast is kind of a tough sell. Because I
disagree.
It's one half crass comedy podcast and one half deeply philosophical and introspective look at Star Trek.
That's life, though, man. That's all of life.
Yeah, all of life is encompassed in one podcast.
We're basically like a metaphor for living. I'm not even kidding.
It's a great podcast. This is my favorite podcast.
This is my favorite podcast.
I'm on it, and it's my favorite. You're not even supposed to say that out loud, but I did it.
I'm on it.
Josh is on it, and that's why it's good.
Aw, that's nice, but untrue.
I'm on it, and that's why it's great.
Damn, that's definitely true.
Nah. I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in today, who listens to M-Class Podcast. I hope and pray to Nagilum, the face in space himself, that you'll tell your friends and your family, your enemies, your frenemies.
Whatever, whoever.
Tell everyone you know. Spread the word.
Netflix and chill. M-Class and chill, dude.
Yeah, spread the word throughout the whole internet. Like, did you know that we have a subreddit? Because I didn't until recently. We do.
I knew that. I did know that.
I knew and then forgot and then remembered again. Thank you to Tad's Beard for running the subreddit. I remembered he did it. He's a pal.
Great job.
Go onto Reddit and tell everybody about us. Talk about how much you love us.
Go to iTunes and leave a review. Whatever you want to say. Leave a review.
Follow us on Twitter. As it turns out, according to iTunes numbers, over half of you do not follow us on Twitter.
Why not?
You can head on over to Twitter at mclasspodcast. If you don't have a Twitter, follow us anyway. Get a Twitter and follow us.
Get a Twitter and just name it at mclassfan6969.
And if you have to do more numbers, just keep adding 69s.
Keep adding 69s.
And follow the Twitter because we're going to be talking Trek on there, especially me. I'm starting to talk about my opinions,
I saw that and I was like, uh-oh.
It's getting too hot for TV on here. It's like a sucker vine on this Twitter. It's just follow us, goddammit. It's good.
Yeah. Plus, you get to see like what episodes we're doing and shit. That's
what episodes
important.
we're doing. You get to see like what type of content you could be getting on our Patreon over at patreon.com/mclasspodcast.
Segue.
Whereas for low as $1, you could get all kinds of cool shit, multiple podcasts, free art, which I'm working on. Fuck off.
I'll kiss you on the mouth. I think that's illegal to say, but I don't. Come get me.
Yeah, it's not for the money, it's for the love.
It's like a charity kiss.
Yeah.
Those
it's a
aren't
kissing
illegal.
booth.
It's a kissing booth.
Our Patreon is now a kissing booth.
Yeah, it is.
Head on over to patreon.com/mclasspodcast to give us your money.
Do it. We love money.
We love all of you.
I love you.
And your money.
Yeah.
But mostly just you.
Mostly just you. Your mouth. Your kissing mouth.
Thanks for tuning in to M-Class Podcast. We'll be back in 1 week with more M-Class goodness.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm mentally ill.